All right, guys, check it out. We got Jeff over here at the house, and he's got boxes inside his hood. What are we doing today, Jeff?
Today we're going to be doing an air oil separator install from Perrin. And we'll do an unboxing of some other parts that they sent me. So we'll get to that install on a later day.
Oh, by the way, guys, check it out. Congratulations on a new house, Jeff.
Thank you.
New garage coming?
Yeah, it's coming pretty soon, in a couple of weeks.
But yeah, Perrin air oil separator. For you long-time subscribers, you guys know I installed this on my old WRX. It's really not that bad of an install, so if you pay attention to the directions, just do everything to the T. I mean, you'll get it just fine. It's definitely a lot easier to do an FA Perrin AOS install than it is on the EJ, that's for sure. But yeah, we're just gonna go over the install with you guys. Hopefully it helps you guys out with your install, and then we'll go from there.
And Perrin sent me out the rest of the parts that match the gold stuff they have already sent. So there's the AOS. It's in like a gold metallic.
It's a nice, sweet color, by the way.
It is. It has a good color. So it'll match the rest of the parts we got here from them. We can kind of go through some of the other parts. We have their lower TGV deletes in the same gold. And these go with the Perrin upper TGV deletes. I'm not sure if they work with everybody else's upper TGV deletes, but it's just the lower piece, so you don't have to get the one-piece units. Comes with the seals, everything already pre-installed.
Yeah, so if you already have the uppers, you know, you can just get those.
Yeah. There's the hardware for them, and the other upper. Let's see here, we got a battery tie down, and then also the uppers to match. And then there's the pitch stop. The pitch stop brace in the same gold. Nope. And an oil cap.
Oh, there you go.
In the same
oil
color.
Cap. Gotta have the oil cap. So if you have a 2015 to 2017, this is one of the parts I highly recommend because it's very expensive to fix, especially if you're out of warranty. Will they fix it if you're out of warranty? If you crack it? I don't know.
I haven't heard personally of anyone having it fixed out of warranty, but
I bet you that
it's still, even if it's in warranty, it's still a big repair.
Yeah.
And it sucks doing.
Yeah. So this is what, $200 or something like that? Cheap insurance.
275, I think.
But yeah,
it is cheap insurance, and it's easier to deal with this than it is to deal with it breaking down the road.
Yeah. Now let's just get on with the air oil separator install. So here we go. Now a lot of you guys have asked for this, so we'll do it, and then we'll do another one for the STI, but well, that's later. So there's two options on how to mount the AOS. You can mount it on a pitch stop, or you can mount it right here next to the intake, which is gonna be kind of difficult for us since he has the ETS intake. So we're gonna mount it right there in the middle, right behind the engine where the pitch stop is at. So this is the one, this is how it's gonna mount in the engine bay. Or back there. So, but I do have my old AOS from my old WRX just for reference in case we mess it up. All right, so right now we're just taking off some of the accessories. Like this has to come off, the air intake has to come off, the shroud's gonna have to come off. We're gonna have to take out the fans just to get to the turbo inlet in order to install one of the lines, but really it's not all that bad. Okay. All right. Fan is out, which gives us access to the turbo inlet, as you can see. Yeah, we should have room.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It's a little pinch clamp. All right, so there's a bunch of fittings that we're gonna have to install. So this is the oil drain fitting, this is the two coolant fittings, and the rest on top are the AOS fittings. We're just gonna use some Teflon tape on this. So, or you can use thread sealant. We're just gonna use Teflon tape for now. So keep in mind, these are NPT fittings, so you don't need to torque them down like Jeff usually does, like to 200 foot-pounds. Look at the instructions as far as the requirements for tightening down NPT fittings. All right, so while Jeff is installing the connections, we have these two right here. I have two straight ones and an L fitting. So this is gonna be for your drain, and these two are gonna be for your coolant fittings. So this is the big one right here?
Yeah, the 5/8 connector goes on top, and these are both the 1/2 inch. Cool. And we can still rotate these a little more depending on which way we need them aimed. And this is just plugged down here. And then we need the
boom These two.
Those guys all on the bottom.
Yeah. Check it out. So the two straight ones are the coolant ones. Those are the ones that are...
You never want to wrap your Teflon tape past the end of the threads. So these threads are short enough I can take the tape and rip it lengthwise. And then
Drain.
okay, so the 90-degree one's gonna go straight into the bottom. And we'll get that tightened up in a second. And then both the other straight ones are gonna go right here side by side.
So just installing the coolant lines. Now this is a 7/16, by the way, for the coolant connectors or adapters. All right, so once you're done with all your fittings, it should look something like this. And just loosely put it on there. We'll put it on there
Or we
later.
put it on facing backwards.
It's up to you.
And then right there. Yep, that'll work. Just like that. And then that. One out. Right there. That looks good to me.
Does it hit anything?
Nope. It got at least the finger clearance all the way around. And then with it mounted there, the coolant lines, we can just aim these. Those, you can't aim those at all. I guess you could rotate the whole bottom of this, huh?
Yeah.
But we can just turn this one a little bit so it aims more towards the back. So it doesn't go right into the wiring harness here. And the line off of there, we can just loop back around because that one goes down to, where's that bottom one go?
This one?
The oil drain.
On this line. One of these lines down.
Okay, so if we turn that fitting towards the back, we can just loop it around the side over here.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna have an issue with that.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. So what was the issue that we had before? Usually we'd mount it up there, right?
Yeah, on the back side, all the way back up in here.
Yeah.
But then you have to bend your AC line here back down out of the way so the bracket will fit on this bolt back here.
So we're just gonna modify the installation a little bit by mounting it right here in the front. So either way, if you want it in the back more or in the front, we're gonna do it this way. It's not in the instructions officially, but
that's where we're putting it.
Yeah.
Yes, we got the coolant lines right here. And we can just tee off of these, right?
Not those big ones.
Oh, okay.
There should be smaller ones from your EGR unit that you teed off from your EGR delete kit.
Somewhere in here.
Small lines, not the big lines. It's probably under the intake manifold.
Oh yeah, probably.
You know those two lines you teed off?
Oh, right here. Yep.
Yeah.
Shit, those almost reached the AOS right there.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like it's right there. It should
Yeah,
be-
they're gonna be just a tiny bit too short.
You shouldn't.
In there, you just put the little. Is there a little straight fitting to go in there or something?
Yeah, there should be an adapter. I saw it. All right, so right now Jeff is just cutting back the plastic, or I don't know what you call that,
A
sheathing.
little sheathing, protective sheathing.
Yeah. So we're just prepping the turbo sump vent hose for the what do you call the? So that's your turbo sump restrictor. This is what your oil or this is what your AOS is going to drain into. So it's going to drain right into here. So it's very hard to see, but this is the line that we're going to use to install the turbo sump restrictor. So I highly recommend getting a hose cutter. I got this on Amazon. I think they're like 10 or 15 bucks. So it gives you a nice straight line.
It's right there.
That was it?
Yep. Cut right through it. Install with arrow pointing up.
All right, so next up is gonna be kind of difficult to film, is to route the oil coolant, not the oil, fucking coolant lines. Yeah, there you go. And Jeff already has an EGR delete kit, so we're just gonna tap into those lines, which are under the intake manifold, which is right here where my hand is at. So we're gonna plug those lines so we don't spill coolant everywhere. So I already have a clamp there. And then we're gonna get the provided adapters, put those two adapters inside those two lines, and then route it to the AOS. Super easy. So this is the adapter that we're talking about that comes with the kit.
So this end, we have the EGR delete that already has the pass-through fitting in it. We'll pull that apart. And one side of the coolant that's going into that EGR delete already, we'll go into here. Then we'll run this to the bottom of the AOS. We'll take another chunk of this, run it from the bottom of the AOS back to the pass-through that's already in the EGR delete line.
So keep in mind, you might spill a little bit of coolant. It's a little bit tight in there, but you know what? I suggest having a little bit of extra coolant around just in case. You won't spill much. As long as you clamp the hoses. Let's see. Oh, you go that way. Smart. I'm trying to get you guys a little visual of what Jeff is doing right now, but it's really hard. It's really tight fit.
Okay, so I'm gonna try and pop this out of the way a little bit. Just kind of hold that up. So, I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's the fitting right here in my hand. It just has a 90-degree pass through on the coolant lines that are both pinched off. I'm just trying to get it off of this fitting.
All right, you're on your own, Jeff. So coolant lines are now undone from the EGR Delete kit.
Yep, only spilled a little bit of coolant.
Oh, only a little bit, not too much?
Like a couple tablespoons.
Oh, okay.
So then the side of the hose that I pulled off, I'm just gonna put this into there with a hose clamp on it. You know what? I have a better idea here.
Oh shit, here we go. Oh fuck.
I wonder how much does it leak if I just take that clamp off. Not at all.
Not at all? Oh, it didn't even leak. So will that reach the AOS itself?
It will, because there it is right there.
Oh, there's
It's got fucking coolant all over me though. So, this is one of the coolant lines that goes there. I'm just gonna run it like that right there. Run that up just like that. So now that's clamped on there.
Hey.
Now, we have this one line, which runs right down to the top. This manifold right down in here under the intake manifold has a coolant run through it.
I think there's a coolant crossover.
Yeah. And we can actually, we're only about 3 inches short from it just reaching the AOS where it's mounted right there.
3 inches, that's all she wanted, huh?
Yeah. And I would say if this coolant hose was easier to reach this end down here, I would just replace the whole thing with a longer one. But it does not look like it's very easy to reach down there.
No. So we'll just put an adapter on it, I guess, pretty
Yep.
much. So an adapter, which is something you already have
Right here.
on.
And I'll just cut it right here. And then this end will go to the bottom of the AOS. This end will go into the existing coolant line.
All right, cool.
So this is the 90 that came with the EGR Delete kit that connected the two coolant lines. Let's go ahead and pull that out. I'll go ahead and attach this in to where that came from. So that ends onto there. Now, this just has to reach to right here. So we'll go ahead and take these. Get a nice straight cut. And this is where I will use the other clamp. Kind of tip this back to make it easier to access. And push it right on there. And with that bottomed out, let's go ahead and slide this clamp all the way on there and tighten it up.
All right, so now Jeff is just mounting the oil drain line.
Right there on the bottom.
Yeah. And once that's done, we can start working on the AOS lines. Okay, oil drain lines and coolant lines are already done. So next thing we got to do is take this line out. So Jeff has a 2016. I think it said 2017s are a little bit different.
Yep, we've got the differences right here. 1516 just has the regular clamp on it. So this is 1516, and 17 has a different style connection on it. So we have 1516, so let's take off that little clamp there, pull it off, which is right down here, besides below the AC compressor. That's right where this goes down and connects up to it. So we're just gonna disconnect that and pull out that whole hose.
Yeah. And it's just spring clamps, it's super easy. And this one goes down to the turbo inlet, which is, oh, you can't see it. But just follow this line all the way down. There's a spring clamp, which is like one of these. Just undo it with some needle nose, and it'll come right out. Pry it off. There's that side. The other side's gonna be at the turbo inlet. Okay. Got it?
That's the intercooler piping. There it is. Yep, so right off the turbo inlet at the bottom, and then right down here below the AC compressor is this side.
All right, so we're gonna do a little modification from the instructions. This is not in the instructions, but this is something that I recommend to keep your hose from kinking because the crankcase vents, the way the lines are, it's gonna kink really bad. So to keep that from kinking, we added a 90-degree fitting instead to keep the hose from kinking.
Yeah, because otherwise when you hook it on there, the fitting that's in there, right in the back there's a chunk of foam there that insulates over the top around the bottom of the intake manifold, and when it bends up, it's gonna kink like that.
Yeah.
Where it has to come up and over top of that. So to alleviate that stress on the hose, it'll just connect to here. We'll put another hose clamp on this end, and then it'll bend up and then bend over towards the back of the car under the intake manifold.
So the crankcase vent can go to either one. It's your choice, whichever one works best for you.
And since this one's already aimed this way, we'll run it to right there.
There you go. All this extra hose. I'd say this is probably the hardest part of the install. Is this part right here?
Trying to think of a way to kind of pry it on there a little bit.
And I would say the hardest part about the whole install is getting this front crankcase vent installed. I don't know if I already mentioned that. So if there was an easier way to do it, I think if you were able to just use the OEM hose and cut it off right here and put an adapter, that would be so much easier.
Which I think is something like that for the 17 and up.
Yeah, it's like what you were saying on the 17 models. I think it's an actual hose because the 15, 16 models use it's a hard hose, but I think the 17 and up models use an actual soft hose. Yeah, rubber hose.
Hard plastic.
So there you go. What you doing, Jeff?
Trying to get the clamp off the PCV valve back here without being able to see it.
Yeah, it's kind of deep in there. So next up we have to take care of the PCV system. It's kind of hard to see from here. I can see Jeff spilled a little bit of coolant, which is...
It's right down here by the access cover for the inspection hole for the clutch, which I don't have the cover in there.
There you go. Oh, you don't have the cover, huh? Oh.
It's... Who knows where it's at.
Yeah.
I've gone through like 3 or 4 of them. I keep
So it's
losing them.
this hose right here, and you can see the fitting down there where Jeff is pointing at. So that's your PCV valve. And we're going to take off that hose, and we're going to undo that PCV valve, which is connected with a 19 millimeter.
So I got the clamp up. It's also a pain to try and get this thing off here. There it is right there.
Got
So
it?
there it is right there.
That's the PCV.
PCV valve. Now we just need to get a 19 on there and pop that guy off.
All right.
Okay, so there's the PCV valve. Right there, the hose is connected to. And we're gonna need to reuse this in a different location. We will put some more thread sealant on here because it has the factory sealant they used on here is the goop style stuff. And the kit will come with this fitting. And once you put more sealant on here, these will just thread together and go in line later on. I'm just trying to clean off the bottom edge a little bit now, just so the threads are coated in it. I got this shit all over my fingers. It's included in the kit. We know we're gonna reuse this PCV valve. So let's get 2 wrenches and we'll tighten this down together. This straight fitting, it's labeled 058. We just need to put some more of this thread sealant on here. And this is the one that's gonna go in the engine block in place where the PCV valve was mounted.
Now we're just putting that fitting onto the engine block, as Jeff is doing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's a pain.
And that's what, a 22 we're using to
I
tighten it down?
believe so, yeah.
So we're not sure if 22 is the exact size, but it fits around the fitting snug.
It doesn't have to be super tight.
No, it doesn't. Then we've got to use the big hose. What, from that fitting that you just installed to the AOS, right?
I believe so, yeah. Let's need to grab 2 hose clamps. So this is just gonna go on top of that fitting we just put on. Right. Down here. There we go. So he's got to force it. Just spit inside of it a little bit, make it a little bit easier to get on there. Yep, and then when we mount it, it'll be sitting right there. So it's a nice, clean, straight shot. Get the hose clamp up there, and we'll tighten that down.
All right, guys, so next up, we have one more line we have to route, and that's the top one. And this one's gonna use the Y fitting, which Jeff has in his hand, right there.
With this chunk of hose.
We are almost done, huh?
Getting there. So I'll verify in the instructions again, but I believe it says to run this one. And once it's run, clamped on both sides, you just cut it in the middle to add in the PCV valve. So you can see the clamps right here where we took the old hose out of. So it's gonna run right down here behind the charge piping for the intercooler. Reach it underneath to route it.
Another hard one to film.
Yes, it is.
It's the big fitting that comes out of your turbo inlet.
Yep. Right next to the boost control solenoid.
All right. So Jeff is now connecting the other part of the hose that he just installed from the turbo inlet up to the AOS, but we're gonna cut that because we still have to install the Y fitting.
Right about here. Go right there.
Doesn't matter where.
And then slide on some hose clamps. And then we have the Y fitting. Goes in here.
That was gross.
You're welcome. Now we'll go right here.
Yep. There you go.
And this end is going to come from here down to the hose that we pulled off of the PCV valve.
All right, we are almost done.
All right, we threw in the Y fitting right here. And here's the original line that went to the PCV valve with the adapter we put on it. And it was literally going to join that much right there, so we cut a little chunk of hose to go between there. And we'll put some hose clamps on there and call it good.
We're done.
We're done.
Everything's all tight, Jeff?
Except for the mounting bolts.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mount it on there. But yeah, look at it. It's nice and clean though. You know?
It is.
Doesn't look, you don't see lines everywhere like you typically would with an AOS. All right guys, so there it is. Perrin AOS system is fully installed. I really like how clean it is. The lines really don't get in the way of the way the engine bay looks, but there it is. So, time to start it up, do our thing.
Yeah. Oh,
There you go.
and the lights said.
Just in time. It's just getting dark, as you guys can see. But there you go. If you guys are interested in the Perrin AOS system, I'll have a link in the description below on where you can get it. And overall, the install wasn't too bad.
No.
So, but I highly suggest, recommend it. I recommend you having someone nearby who's familiar with this engine, or someone who's installed an AOS before. Because if it was my first time, bro, I'm telling you,
It would take a little bit longer.
a lot longer.
At least the instructions are good though.
Yeah,
I got pictures and.
it worked.
Yep.
Anyways, that's it. Talk to you guys later. Peace out,
Yeah.
guys.